Okay, the other day, when I went over to Costco, Buddy stayed home with the puppies, Minnie and Carly, but I wanted to get a watermelon. So when I go over there, I put my stethoscope on. That's what I got here, my ears. And so that I know what watermelon to buy. So Patty had certain criteria she uses, but I didn't remember her saying this. But I got a watermelon. I'm going to show you this YouTube watermelon picking, selecting video. But I use my stethoscope and then I thump it, and you can tell how it sounds. Different ones have different sounds, but the ripe one and the one that has very little, you see very little here, the green, you want it to be red, as much red as possible. So that's how that's what I did to select this one. Of course, the other criteria is size. I want to pick the biggest one to get the most for my money. And so what happens is I pick the big ones and then I thump them and with the stethoscope listen to them to see whether or not they're good or not. And I don't think Patty did that for hers, but this particular one I think is the biggest one they had in their 3 or 4 bins they had. But when I get home, I got a scale here that I use, but it only goes up to a certain weight. And so what happened is I cut the watermelon in half, and then I weigh a half of it. And then I just multiply that by 2, and it'll tell you how many pounds. So this was a 25-pound watermelon, because each half weighs 12.5 pounds. Now, if you are a veteran at eating watermelons and find it to be your favorite fruit this time of the year, you will have something like this watermelon slicer, see? And you use that and you put it over there and you bring it down and you come out with perfect slices every time. And then you can cut it in smaller squares, whatever you want. Now, I also bought a cantaloupe, but I got that over at Aldi's, and I think that was $1.69, and it weighs 4 pounds. I haven't cut it yet. I can tell when that's ripe. I'll leave it on the refrigerator for a while, and I can tell when it's just about perfect, and then I cut it. But it's 4 pounds, and I paid $1.69, so that makes it about 40 some cents a pound. Now the watermelon here, looking back here, 25 pounds. You got to tell me how much I paid a pound. How much is a good price for watermelon by the pound? Some people just buy a piece of it, and then they buy it by the pound. But how much did I pay per pound? If I paid $5.99, I think $5.99 for this 25-pound watermelon. That's your question here. And the bananas over there that I got this morning from Quick Trip, they were only 29 cents a pound. So the cheapest fruit to eat at this time of the year would be what? Cantaloupe, bananas, or watermelon. Now you have to know how much the bananas weigh, and it weighs 2.5 pounds and 29 cents a pound. And then the cantaloupe or the watermelon, which one would be the most economical? Or Foxy would say practical to eat this time of the year, if price is a consideration. Now, Buddy doesn't eat watermelon, but I've had 3 beagles and they all loved watermelon. And I know that the Bester's min pins here, that they would eat it if I fed it to them, but they don't. I haven't given them anything besides what they were left here by their parents. There's Minnie sitting outside of her kennel. See, at night they stay in the kennel, or if we go someplace, they stay in the kennel. But Minnie's just kind of cooling it this morning, waiting for her parents and the kids to get home so that they can give them more attention than I do. I was looking for Carly. He was upstairs, and he's always anxious to go someplace. Just have to holler and he'll be there. So Carly and Minnie are going to be going home either late tonight or tomorrow, because the kids are coming back, flying from Montreal today back to O'Hare, and then driving home. So we'll see what time they get here as to when they'll be picked up. I think they've had enough of Grandpa and Grandma. Looking outside, no Blackie. No Blackie this morning. The last few mornings she's been here and so forth, but not now. And Chad's cutting his grass next door this morning. It's nice and green, and it's getting long, but I'll wait till tomorrow maybe. Now, when my daughter leaves the dogs here, this is for bedtime snack, breakfast, this is lunchtime, and this is dinner, and this is post-potty treats, and then she buys them this here, Blue Delights, prime rib flavor and gravy, so that they split one of these, and I got a couple left, so she knows exactly what they are fed, so I don't overfeed them when they are gone. But how can it be any easier to take care of dogs when you got all this stuff here on the table for you? Carly's been watching me here. I gotta try something. So you watch Carly, and then you watch what I do. Ooh, what is that? Piece of watermelon? Do they eat watermelon? Huh? Ooh, don't you tell Mama I gave you that, Carly. Minnie, you want a piece of watermelon? Oh, Minnie swiped it right up. And Carly, he likes it. Let's see. Oh, he goes for the second one too. Oh, that watermelon, that's good stuff. Yeah. So where is it? He's all gone. He ate it up. They are as bad as beagles, because my beagles used to eat it out of my hand too. Let's see, I just had to show you up there the bird feeder that I have up there. We are getting more doves. They're not pigeons, they're doves this year than we ever did. I may have told you that before, but there's a couple of them in there. Oh, one's a dove and one's something else, but they just sit in that bird feeder, and rabbits come and eat out of there, and the squirrels, they were in there this morning. So we feed all kinds of animals here during the day besides dog. Now I gotta share a secret with you. It's probably not a secret to most of you, but the bananas, to keep them from getting too brown, I put them in the basement, on the basement floor, until we're ready to eat them. They'll stay firm as can be. Now, even if you don't eat them right away, I'll show you what they look like. They will turn brown like this. A lot of people say, oh, I wouldn't eat those, they're brown. No, those bananas are just as firm as can be, just that they got ripe gradually while being down in the basement. But they are not mushy or anything, they're nice and firm. So if you don't eat them up right away, you're not going to eat them the same day. Put them someplace where it's cool, not in the refrigerator, they'll get brown right away. Or put them in the basement if you have one, and the basement is cooler than, it's in the 60s down there than in the kitchen here. And if you want to get them ripe faster, put them on top of the refrigerator. That's where I had the cantaloupe. And Carly is still saying, where's my watermelon? I like watermelon, I like cantaloupe. Don't ever feed them grapes, never. I got grapes in the refrigerator. But I have to be very careful that I don't have them out, because grapes could kill a dog that small. And so we have to be careful with grapes and chocolate candy and stuff, because they just love it. Buddy, don't worry about Buddy. He's not going to eat He will not eat a potato chip if it falls on the floor. These guys, they're like vacuum cleaners. Anything you will find our house is the cleanest that it'll ever be when these dogs are over here. But I got to make sure no medication falls on the floor because I take different kinds of pills, and when nobody's around I might be a little reckless and one might fall when I'm putting them in their proper place.